What is going on, guys? Spartan D here, and we're back for another witch's weapon video. So today is a little different. Tonight we're gonna be covering the basics. When you start on the game, you're gonna be prompted. Before we even get to that, you'll be prompted. Go straight in. And what you're gonna do, you'll end up doing these stages. You complete these stages, you'll get up to here. It'll bring you to different places, but eventually where you'll want to be is 1-4. Now what 1-4 will provide you with is a ticket that allows you to summon for these 4 units that I'm about to show you. Beatrice, they're Heaven's Roses. Now, depending on when you're watching this, and I imagine whenever you start the game, they provide you with this. I could be wrong, and if I am wrong by the time you're watching this, my apologies. And the opinion will change depending on if this is the case or not, which I will address. But generally speaking, Heaven's Roses right here, you'll get from completing these missions. What you'll also get from completing these missions is Kiryu. Kiryu is essential in building your team, your beginner's team. This is a beginner's guide on how to maneuver through the game. And you're given a lot of units for free, honestly. And I'll show you which ones you should invest in. Beatrice, for sure, she's essential. Really, you can put her on any magic team and she'll excel. Like, she's amazing. She honestly is. I have a showcase of her already, and one coming out, depending on whenever this comes out, on Heaven's Roses as well. Beatrice is really good to invest in. You just have to use her correctly. And what you'll be starting out with is Heaven's Gate. Now, the way you'll want to use Beatrice, assuming that you did not pick her SSR, is you'll want to wait until her active skill is open, ready for use. Reason being is because her active allows you to silence the enemy. Now, Beatrice does a lot more damage in addition to her silence. It gives you a boost in your damage, like a lot. It is huge. When the enemy is silenced on the team, and this goes for anybody, this massively increases her damage. Her damage, whichever unit you have out at the time's damage when you activate her skill. Because the way her passive works is, as you see, it says requires silence for the damage boost. Your normal attacks will deal 110% of your total attack damage in magic. Additionally, now, if Beatrice is out, that damage increased by 160. Huge. She also has it through Heaven's Gate, which anytime an enemy uses a skill, that unit will get silenced for 4 seconds, which will activate her ability in being able to do more damage, her passive. That's when you unlock it. You won't have this available to you at the time. So what I recommend for players to do, if for whatever reason you don't have her Heaven's Roses, you can use her on the team. Her damage will just not be as prevalent until you get her passive. So invest in her, yes, but not early on, because you should have better options. And if you don't, that's fine, because you just have to wait until her active is available. Or if you're good with your switch outs, You can hold her as a counter. Whenever the enemy charges a gauge, a yellow bar should pop up under the enemy's health bar before that's full, or as the skill is being used. You swap her in, and you'll be able to, do damage. But again, that's only if her passive is available, and she gets better the more you level up and you're able to get her to the blue severe rank, which is rank 4, I believe. Rank 4 or rank 3. Whenever you get to the blue, whenever it's at the blue, that's when this passive is available. Now, again, use her active and it won't matter. It'll be there. But again, there's better options. Beatrice is better with her passive. That's when she really comes online. That's one of the 4 that you will have available to you in 1-4. Monica is the second one. This is the one that I chose simply because of what it does. Now what it does is it reduces damage from all sources by 60%, up to 4,000, and this will increase with your level. And there's additional effects. Not only does it reduce damage incoming, if you take at least 2 hits, what happens is everything around you within a 4-yard radius, when you swap out, or whenever the MP gauge is emptied, it will knock all enemies up and increase the damage that they take, which is a window for you to use any AoE that you may have or what have you. They also are stunned for a short period of time. During that time, they take additional damage. The only thing with this is some people are turned off by this. You cannot attack with this. It's a shield and your movement speed is reduced by 50. That shouldn't be your main concern. This movement speed reduction, that should not be a concern for you, simply because you're not using this weapon, well, the shield, you're not using it to move around, you're using it to reduce all incoming damage. And you should be pretty close to the enemy to begin with in order for you to, get this off. But even if you don't, it does not matter that much. It does if you want to maximize her overall utility, because what she does in addition to all of this is you recover 12 HP times the number of enemies that you knock up. So if you knock up 4, you can replenish up to 48% of your max HP, 36 if you knock up 3, 24 if you knock up 2, and 12 if you only hit 1 or none at all. So for all intents and purposes, it is really good. At the time of making this video, Monica's banner is up, and I would usually recommend people to pick Monica. And the reason being is, her banner wasn't up at the time that I recommended her. Now it's a matter of, would you rather have her shield guaranteed and then just go for a lance and you can save up? Because at the time I'm making this video, Chiyo's banner is still up, and that is also another one of the 4 that is available. As you can see, there's about 23 hours left their banner. Now the thing with this is, if you're just starting out, you just download the game right now, or you've been playing for a couple of days, and you don't have Chiyo, you can go ahead and summon for her. She is pretty good. We'll get into her in a bit, but I feel as though there are better options. If you're going to pick one, it should be Monica or it should be A-Lucca. Reason being is because A-Lucca is pretty insane. She has quite a bit of magic damage that she outputs in her attacks, and every 2 seconds the next normal attack that she deals to anyone is equal to 225% of your total magic attack damage, which is pretty insane. Not only that, this is her SSR form, right? Well, her rare weapons are pretty insane too, so investing in her is pretty crazy. As you can see, Thunder Pulse allows you to stack up dodge charges, and each charge that's consumed increases your dodge rate by 10%. You stack up 3 with each attack, so you do the math. You only need to do about, a few hits, and then you reach 100, you swap out, and that will slowly decay with each attack that you dodge. Her normal attacks also have some more utility, as if that wasn't crazy enough. They reduce your opponent's attack speed by 7% for 5 seconds, and that will continue to refresh every time you're attacking, and it stacks up to 4 times. And that will pass on for the remainder of however long it lasts when you swap out, which is pretty huge. And her lightning forks is pretty good as well. For every 3 normal attacks, it will chain effect and hit up to 3 enemies in range, dealing 130% of your magic attack. And this one has dual damage, so it does physical attack, the regular attack, which is sort of bad since she's magic oriented, but you'll see the magic damage that'll come out every 3 normal attacks. So her SSR is really good actually for a DPSer, and it has utility as well. And her character overall, because of her active skill, having an AoE, everything within 8 yards every 0.5 seconds is getting hit with 90% of your total magic attack damage. It lasts for 10 seconds and it fires up to 20 times for every enemy. Pretty good, right? And her passive, as you can see, I don't have it unlocked because I have not invested in her yet. I will in the future, I just don't have the resources right now, but she is well worth investing into if you so choose. She's actually one of the 2 that I recommend the most out of the 4, next to Monica. And because Monica's banner is currently up and there's a pity system, I am leaning very much more towards A-Lucca at this point in time. If Monica's banner is not up during this time, she is the #1 priority, followed by A-Lucca, then Chiyo, and Beatrice, provided that Beatrice is still available for you to grab whenever you start the game. Maybe it is not available to you, and the only way for you to acquire Beatrice is through the one ticket summon that is infinite, in which case the order of priority changes. Monica is still first in my opinion, followed by Beatrice because she has so much utility and it's just insane how good she is, followed by A-Lucca simply because while she does have some utility and has quite a few weapons, which is like really good, it depends on what you would prefer. Through summoning, you'll get Thunder Pulse and you will get Lightning Fork, so it's a matter of what you will want. Now Beatrice has a ton of damage and utility through her silences. These are a bit conditional upon skills. If you don't have her SSR variant, that will be your source of damage. Also, she takes a bit to come online. If you don't have her passive active, when you start, you won't have it active. So it still does not change. It's close. It depends on what you want. If you want to make the game easier for you, Monica first, followed by A-Lucca second, Beach is in a close third, and Chiyo is fourth. Now, the reason I say Chiyo is fourth is not because she's bad, it's just in terms of utility, the other ones have her beat by far. Now, the way that Chiyo's weapon works is she does true damage. Now, you'll be thinking, you know, that's great. In most cases, yes, it is. However, the damage is not that great until you have quite a bit of investment in her. Now, that includes starring her up, which I will do right here. And these are the materials that you need in order to increase Chiyo's star level, which increases their growth overall and their overall stats, which makes them better. Chiyo needs to have star ups in order for her to be pretty good. She has consistent damage, it's just that her damage is completely reliant on her stats because it does not scale upwards, it just does consistent damage overall. And it's based off of your opponent's attack. So she's very niche in the sense of if your opponent has very high attack, she'll be doing quite a bit of damage to them. If they are magic based, she won't be doing as much damage. However, her damage will be consistent all the way through. She gets a lot better once her passive is available, which is through her active skill. When you activate her active skill, you have a window where all incoming damage or status effects you will be immune to for 1.4 seconds, and it deals 2400% of your physical damage to the target. Whoever you have targeted will take that damage, which is quite a bit. If you time this right, you can one-shot bosses. So it's pretty insane. Now, Beatrice with her Heaven's Roses, I haven't went over this, but whichever target is silenced at this time, through her active skill, it will also affect all enemies within a 5-yard radius, meaning you will do massive damage to them. You can couple this with an AoE, and that AoE will do significant damage to everyone around you if they are silenced. So it's really good to couple Beatrice with an SSR, with a unit that can do AoE, excuse me. And luckily enough for you, you get a free unit that does just that in Kiryu. Kiryu's active does 550% of your magic attack damage to all enemies, and enemies that are close to Kiryu will take up to 1.3 times more damage, which is essentially, 30% more. 130% more if you want to get technical. And when her passive is available, magic defense is decreased by 15%. So coupling Kiryu and Beatrice together is a really good combo. They are both free, and it just allows you to do a lot more damage. The other free unit that you get is Raphilia. Now, Raphilia is going to be your healer. This is what you will invest in, period. Raphilia is what you will invest in. She is, for all intents and purposes right now, as far as the current content is concerned at the time of making this video, she is your designated healer, and she will heal you for 60% of your HP over time, 12% within 5-yard radius, and it lasts for 5 ticks. And these ticks are pretty fast. It's about half a second roughly in between. So over 2.5 seconds, you'll be healing 60% of your max HP. And when you unlock her passive, you'll heal for an additional 20%, which is pretty huge. So overall, she can heal 60 to 80% depending on if you have her passive available to you or not. So she is worth investing in. Her skills are really good. She reduces the target's physical and magic damage, defense by 19%. And you can also increase your physical and magic defense by 3% because it stacks up 3 times, which is pretty good. She has really good utility for being a healer and a free healer at that. Her SR variant gives you 39% dodge, and each time you successfully dodge, you heal 3% of your physical or magic attack, whichever one is higher. Which is also really good. So these I would implore you to invest in now. Saphira, this is how you further increase your witches damage, and each one of your witches will have one of these available to them. This is essentially how you get their passive available and how you continuously upgrade their stats overall, which is really good. So be sure to farm up materials whenever you can, as they are great. You went over skills. Now these here, these are the materials that you will need in order to increase their star rating, which is again another source to increase their stats further. And you'll want to max out the characters that you are using. This here is essentially just telling you what their stats are, what type of character they are, and your affinity. This is something extra where you can unlock additional stats simply by playing the game. Now, this wallpaper that you see is not her normal one. This is what you will normally see. This is what you will normally see when you first unlock Ophelia. But upon playing, you'll unlock this, which gives you free stats. It gives you an additional 248 magic attack, which is really good considering you'll want to start out with a magic team. That about covers that. Now, when you come into the game, once you start summoning, here you get free summons, here free singles, 6 a day. It refreshes every 10 minutes after you use one. I have not used gold to summon on this, and I strongly urge you not to, unless you're going to whale out on this game and you have a crap ton of gems to just spend to replenish your gold. I would advise against that. Just take the free ones and go. And when you go ahead and summon, make sure you are summoning on rated up banners only, and only go for ones that have immense value, like Monica. Chiyo is great, but she has a very niche usage, and for content currently there is no need for her, but in the future, if you're able to grab her, I would say go for it. You have a lot more time to pull Monica than you do Chiyo, so if that incentivizes you to, in your 1-4 pulls, pick Chiyo, that is fine as well. It will make sense depending on the time that you are watching this video, but for all intents and purposes, Monica fills just about every single role there is that you need her to fill. She's tanky, she does incredible damage through her lance and also through her shield. Her shield has massive heals depending on how you use it, massive damage reduction, even further from 60 to 90. when you have an awakened. It also has stun. Her active skill is a stun. It does massive physical damage. It's really great. Stay away from this regular summon banner. There is no pity system here unless you are a whale for whatever reason. Even whales, I would advise to stay away from this banner. Just wait for rated up banners. You're much better off. You're just significantly better off. Let's go over the modes. Now, Barrier Maze, you unlock this at level 27, so if you don't have it available right now, don't worry about it. This is where you will acquire these chips to gather these star-up materials, these upgrade materials, which is pretty huge. You can also gain equipment from here to further your stats through severe ranking up, which is quite vital in the time that you unlock it. So it's pretty good. And through the maze, you're able to acquire materials that you would normally get through doing the chapters, and this is significant because stamina is quite finite, and so is gold. You essentially get rid of two problems in one simply by doing the maze. However, the materials that you grab through this is random, so keep that in mind, and for every 3 that you complete, you're able to get better rewards as you progress. So try to complete this all the way through every day if you can. It is essential. Now here, what you want to do with this is you pick any one of these weapons that you currently own. That's all you can do. You can't do any that you don't own. It has to be one that you own. So let's say I wanted to do Beatrice's Heaven's Gate because it is nearly finished, and I can awaken it and it will get significantly better. Depending on the rarity of the weapon, the cost increases. You see it went from 1500 to 7500. If you pick an SSR, see it says insufficient gold, it will cost you 30,000. So be wary of that. And when you do these, you can do it as many times as you want. The attempts are unlimited. The only difference being is once these two are no longer available, the cost in AP goes from 10 to 20. So keep that in mind when you do that. One other thing to keep in mind is you are able to receive character experience, but not witch experience. And what that means is this gauge right here, this is your character experience. The witch experience is this right here, this gauge. That is your witch experience. So don't worry about that. If you were thinking like you could, get experience that way, it won't work. So keep that in mind as well. Here, Command Center, these are where your achievements are, your dailies. This is where you gather dust. This is where you gather, this is the main source of your character experience. So you want to be doing dailies every day. Otherwise, leveling will not be fun. It will not be easy. This right here, this experience, this is more oriented towards as long as you're staying on top of your dailies, this won't really decay. It won't be that noticeable. But after the 15th day of acquiring this experience, it decays over time at a small rate. And here you get currency, which you can use in a shop that is not available yet as of making this video. It will eventually be available as the game grows, so depending on when you watch this, it'll already be available, and by then I'll probably have a video covering the shop. And this is your main achievements here, which you get through just playing the game, leveling up during certain difficulties, clearing certain requirements, that type of stuff. Here, same thing. You get hefty rewards just from, you know, playing through the game, unlocking witches, leveling them up, gathering their materials to upgrade their star level, killing enemies. You even get, you know, some for purchasing AP with gems. I don't necessarily recommend that for free-to-play players unless you're really close for something, let's say like this event. I'm not sure if this will be available whenever you start the game. Hopefully they do that, because it would suck if you could not just get this for free. But the way it seems is upon the initial release of the game, within the first month, you have these available to you. So if you're watching this video within that time period, I would strongly urge you to get these. I covered this in a video already. I'm just slowly touching on it here since it's available and it's in the video. But if it's not available for whatever reason during the time that you're watching this video, I'm sorry. I apologize. You missed out on some pretty significant materials. But if not, awesome. You still get it. But the shop, let's go through this real quick. Here you can purchase summon tickets here with gems. For whatever reason you want to, you know, change your name, it costs 100 gems. I strongly urge you to make sure you have the correct name that you want to use throughout the entire game span, otherwise you'll have to pay one way or another to grab that. Now these here, it's a alternate way in which you can access gold if you need it. I only strongly urge this if you really need it. This here, I strongly urge against grabbing that. It's simply just not worth it. You'll have more than enough if you are not spreading out your soda experience to every wish that you gather. So try not to do that, because you will hit a wall at some point, and depending on where you spread that resource out, it might keep you from being able to progress. If there's a certain team that you're using that isn't doing too hot, you grab a unit that you can use, but they're a little on the weaker side because you don't have the materials necessary. It would suck. But that window shouldn't be too big, so you shouldn't worry about that. Here you can gather materials used to rank up and increase your damage. Here you see there's some materials for Raphilia. You essentially will see this just about every time the shop refreshes, which is pretty good. Sometimes there won't be, sometimes there'll be Vera. Vera, I believe, is another one of those free to play units. She's really good. She's really good. Here you have a shop where you can buy gems if you decide to do that. You know, that's your own choice. And here again, this is for, they've essentially locked your ability to, at least for right now. It might change in the future. By the time you're watching this, it might be more accessible. For right now, you have to pay in order to get different outfits that will slightly increase your stats on the main character through magic attack, physical crit, max health, and magic crit. Now here is where those daily materials come into play with the dust. This is another place where you can get materials for your weapons. If you're running low on gold, I haven't really done so, but if you're in a pinch when you haven't managed your stuff well, you can use it to buy gold if you need to. And try to join a guild as soon as you possibly can, preferably one that's somewhat active. And if you can't find one, make one, just so you have, just so you can access the shops. The reason I say you want to get an active one, just so you can get a bit more gold in your pocket. Even if you don't have a very active guild, you'll still be able to generate guild coins, and you'll want to use them to also gain materials that are available to you. Try to grab whatever is on sale, as it will help you significantly. But if there's one of these that allows you to further rank up, even if it's not on sale, you should probably grab it if it's a really huge power boost. And here, the maid shop, same thing, we already covered that. The prayer shop, this is what you will have. This is essentially like another pity system, in the sense of, after you've done so many multis, as you can see, I've done 15 up to this point. If I wanted to, I could grab myself a special SR. What that means is the difference between your random and special is the special category will not give you a weapon that you already have. It will only give you access to weapons that you don't have. And when you essentially have everything and there's just like one you just couldn't get, this is where I would say you would want to save your prayer coins for a unit that you really, really want to have a chance of getting, that you don't have just yet. This would be the chance. It costs you about 60 multis worth to get one, to have a chance of getting one that you don't currently have. If you're only missing one, this is great for you. This is a no-brainer. You know, the chances of you getting it will vary depending on how many you don't have. So, you know, be wary of that. The random one will give you a dupe. It will just give you, whether you have it or not, it will just give you an SSR. Or super rare, or just a regular weapon. There is a multitude of ways for you to gather materials, and just through playing through the chapters, you'll have chances to grab them. Now, the higher the rarity is, the harder it is to grab the material, which is already randomized, so keep that in mind. You're going to be using your AP a lot of the time just to, you know, refresh to grab materials, simply because at some point, just because the levels are generally locked according to level, you will likely be sitting at a chapter for, you know, a day, maybe 2 at most, if you're really active. And after completing the first chapter, you will go on to the second. But the main thing here is, as you can see, the square right here that I'm clicking, the glimmering stone, it is no longer blue. When you fully clear a chapter, this will be available to you to do. It's a special quest. It's a special stage that you can do where you will have a special assigned team allotted to you, and if you clear it, you will gain 100 gems, which is pretty good. After the second chapter, here you'll get access to hard mode that will drop catalysts, and catalysts are what you have available to you. These are your star up materials, your upgrade materials. Each chapter has something different. Eventually the rotation will turn back and you will see some of them again. And as you can see here, because this is a new chapter, there is not one of these glimmering stones yet, because I have not fully cleared this. And that right there is the difference. The higher the chapters that you get, the more that you will see the materials higher in rarity. So yeah, I believe that just about covers everything. Oh, also when you progress through, they'll have this little story reel where you can get a small amount of gold, sometimes gems, just from doing this, which is pretty cool. And here, they'll eventually be, events for the units. Not sure what this is yet, depending on when you're watching this will change. Shortly it will change. And here is generally where you can check the your mail right here, which you can also access in the top right. Here you can, this is essentially if you want to go straight to the quest, which is the command center. It's right there, same thing. Guild, when you get a guild, this is how you access it. Or you can move your screen over and it's right off here. It's all ducked off to the side. When you come in the game, you don't really see it. You might not even know that it's there without, checking this. And here is, essentially the you get rewarded through, going through every day and completing your dailies, which you should be doing. And as you can see here, there are 5 levels to it, and they all have different perks. And the free variant of it expires after 15 days of earning them, and it's reduced by daily reduction of paid required is 15. The daily reduction, it's not, hopefully I'm not reading that correctly and saying that it's 700. That's quite a bit, which essentially just means you should definitely be on your dailies. You should definitely be on your dailies. I believe that about covers it. This would be where, if you're pay to play or free to play at some point, will have access to this. Yeah, there's physical crit available, magic attack, max HP, physical attack. And the default has nothing here. This is, if you want to mess around with her, you can. She has like different reactions. If you pat her head, she gets happy. If you do something vulgar, which I'm not going to do, she'll have a different reaction. And this essentially lets you know what your current stats are, which isn't everything, which is weird. This is just, I believe this is based off of your level, and the battle suit also has something to do with that. So it's not really a big deal. I don't think the jump is that much noticeable, so you don't have to worry about that. One more thing, there is, as you can see, this is currently etched out. It's every day it seems there is a mystery shop that has certain materials that you want to be on the lookout for that. And once a week on the weekend, Friday to Sunday, there will be another special shop that is up for quite a bit longer. The the other mystery shop that's daily is only available for a couple of hours, so try to be on the lookout for that. It generally seems to open up around noon Eastern Standard Time, noon or 1 o'clock, within that time frame, so try to look out for that. Match that up with your time zone wherever you are and try to check that out. Just the, you might get materials there. It'll either cost gold or gems, and it might be what you need to further progress you through the game. There's a chance that it's character experience as well, so all types of goodies. So yeah, I believe that is just about everything. I say that and then I find out, oh hey, there's something else. Just in case you were wondering, if you're coming from the official Discord, there is a tab there in which you can set in your invitation code and allow people to link up with you and you link up with them, and as they progress through up to chapter 5, you get materials. See this right here, the battle suit. That's a way to grab it, and there's quite a few of them. You can gain up to, let's see, 21, 27, 30. You can get about 30 from there for free, which is pretty good. And I believe through here, overall, you can get 36 of those. Not quite enough to, get one of those costumes, but I'm sure eventually they will allow you to. Here, it's just letting you know, it doesn't have all the materials here, which is weird. There's like spots where they just don't have everything. But with that being said, guys, that about covers everything that needs to be covered thus far. So, if you haven't already, feel free to ask me questions about the game, what I haven't covered, what I missed. Please feel free to let me know, and I'll cover that at a later time. Just any general questions that you have about the game, you can reach me at Spartan D. That's SpartanDii. I wasn't able to fit my full name here because you only have 8 characters. But you can reach me on the official Discord, and you can personally message me if you need to, or just feel free to at me in the official Discord, whichever you feel more comfortable with, about any questions that you might have, team building, what have you, whatever it is that you need. And yeah, I will have that in the description as well, so you can just message me there. And with that being said, I love you all so very much. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Take care.